In we go for the first junior race of the 2017 birelART UK Series. On the front row of the grid, it's Scott Huntley and Tom Massarella, with Dylan Reed and Harry Barlow on the second, Connor Brown and Will Martin, Baldry, Taylor, Gartside and Graham rounding out the top 10. Keep an eye further back. TYRONE, Stansfield and Sky Siddle from the 6th row should be strong. Oliver Moy is very quick in wet conditions, and Zach Parkinson on 17th on the grid has rolled the dice, the only driver in this field to go onto slick tyres. But has he called it right as Scott Huntley gets an immediate charge through, and he's going to make the lead his own as they go out of Crook. TYRONE Stansfield, leading seed, the man from Braintree in Essex. He's going to struggle his way through the field. Scott Huntley, they got the tyre choice right in the pre-final. Harry Barlow wanted to work his way through the field as everybody tiptoes through Christmas for the first time. Harry Graham's had a very strong weekend so far. Will Martin has been very quick. He won the earlier heat, don't forget, so he's got himself a lot to do from the mid-pack. Tom Massarella, front row of the grid, and he's still up there. Sky Siddle, after her great showing at Buckmore Park last year, should be a strong contender. Zach Parkinson, the only driver in this field on slick tyres. Morgan Cole had a frustrating pre-final. He should have been up amongst the podium contenders. Dylan Reed likewise, but he's got a good chance to end his weekend on a high. Ben Gartside has been going faster and faster all weekend, and Tom Davison has been making good progress as well, the man from Cannock in Staffordshire. Connor Brown has been one of the more impressive rookies coming into this first weekend of the season, and Oliver Moy from Kingston upon Thames, he's been very good in the wet. Toby Baldry, he's had a frustrating one, but he could come good here in the final. George Whitehouse has been getting consistently quicker as well, the man from Worcester. Catherine White, one of our rookies, and she's been going pretty good as well, the lady from Essex. Jack Rigg, the man from Yorkshire, he's been getting a lot of more pace. Nicky Taylor, he is one of the ones to watch for me. He's been very strong this weekend and could well be in the top 6. Sam Cunliffe has been doing very well, the young man from Lancashire. Toby Gilmore, he's a new boy this year, and hopefully there's a lot of speed to come from him. Back to the front, we've got Huntley, Massarella and Barlow. These are the three who have broken clear from the rest, and you can see that a dry line is definitely developing, but as you can see, there's not a lot of sunshine compared to what there was in the cadets, so we may well be getting those rain clouds coming back. That's Nicky Taylor in front of TYRONE Stansfield. I've been so impressed by Nicky Taylor this weekend. He's had such a turn of speed, and there's an awful lot of great racecraft with it. He's up in 5th position at the moment in front of TYRONE Stansfield. The man he's catching is Harry Graham. Connor Brown is in there as well, hovering all over the back of TYRONE Stansfield as the rest of the field charges their way up through Manuel's back they come now, sliding all over the place. Massarella's gone. Massarella just overcooking it under braking, and he drops back now behind Nicky Taylor. He will slot in just in front of TYRONE Stansfield, but Stansfield's going to try and go the long way up towards Inkermans and shoot back into the inside of Ashby, taking Connor Brown with him. That's a big mistake though for Tom Massarella. He just overcooked it in the braking zone. So easy to do on the run to Christmas. I was saying earlier, there's about 6 or 7 lines you can take in the dry, let alone in the wet and the damp. But he's done well to recover. He hasn't lost too much time. He's now in behind Nicky Taylor, who's in 4th position. Graham up to 3rd. Stansfield up the inside of Massarella. Is that going to work? No, it's not. And Brown goes into the back bumper. Up the inside. This is a great chance for Will Martin. He slots through and takes the place. Great work. Will Martin won the earlier heat at a canter, and he did a fantastic performance to get there. He was hassled in the early stage, in the late stages of the race, I should say, sorry, but he managed to hold on. Now he's battling away with Connor Brown again. So the rookie, Connor Brown, doesn't look like a rookie. He's still charging very hard indeed. Up the inside, a late move into Christmas. Can he get it? No, Martin is wise to the move. He holds it round the outside, giving TYRONE Stansfield plenty of pressure. Once again, the leading seed in the championship struggling here in the juniors. TYRONE Stansfield having a bit of a Christian Lily day where sometimes it goes great and other times it's just not happening for whatever reason. But TYRONE Stansfield, the man from my hometown, Braintree in Essex, looking like he's got a good season in front of him. Considering he started in 11th place, he's in the top 6. Don't knock him, he's coming through very quickly. There's the 93, that is Gartside. Now where's Sky Siddle? She's in around the midfield, so she's making good progress as well. Connor Brown, though, the leading rookie, as he has been for a large majority of the day, actually, hassling Will Martin. I've just spotted, actually, we've got a lead change. Harry Barlow is now leading in front of Scott Huntley. Yes, look, Barlow is in front. Now, I wonder if that was in the little mistake from Massarella, as up the inside comes Connor Brown to take on Will Martin. Martin's going to try and get it back, but Brown's got that one cleanly. Now, back to the lead. I think Barlow might have been able to get the run on Scott Huntley when Massarella locked up at Christmas, because there might have been just the tiniest little nudge, and that might have been enough to upset Scott Huntley's flow to give Barlow a chance. That probably came in the Zulus when he had an opportunity down at the bottom of the hill. Stansfield goes a little bit deep. Connor Brown's got a chance, but Barlow has got the lead here in front of Scott Huntley. the man who called the tyre choice absolutely to perfection in the pre-final, one of the few to go to slicks, and it worked absolutely stupendously. But I'm afraid Zach Parkinson, who's done the same in this race, is nowhere to be seen. His lap times are still a good 3-4 seconds off the pace of the leaders. So it's a good gamble, and when you're down in 17th, it's worth making the gamble, because if it works, you're a genius. But unfortunately, it hasn't really worked out for him today. So as they come through, there is Harry Barlow, race leader, started P4, and now Graham is starting to get on terms with Huntley as well. So Scott Huntley, that brilliant number 3 card of his, which is actually carrying a lot of tributes to Bruce McLaren. He's a big McLaren fan, and he actually carries a lot of tributes to the former Formula 1 race winner on his overalls as well. It's a great little outfit, that lad and dad operation. Scott Huntley, the 3 seed this year. There's Nicky Taylor, a man who's just been getting faster and faster and faster as the weekend goes out, and I can genuinely see him winning races on a consistent basis in 2017. He's got a lot of guile and a lot of gusto, this young man. Let's see if he can get on terms with Graham. Out through the heel of the boot, Scott Huntley started from pole position, won the earlier pre-final as we said, but Harry Graham is giving him some hassle at the moment, and all of this is allowing Barlow to get away and pull out a gap. That's the 74 going through in the lead battle. That's Morgan Cole as he tries to work his way up through the field. Now Morgan Cole should have been a contender for the pre-final earlier on, but when they changed tyres, he lost tyre pressure, and the tyre started to deflate and it put him out of the race. That's why he's trying to charge his way through. He was absolutely devastated because he could easily have won and put himself on the pole for this race. So he's now having to fight his way through, and in these conditions it's difficult to know what tyre choice to go for. So everybody's gone for wets, but they're all struggling because the track is drying faster than the tyres are worming in. That's Will Martin on the back of Tyrone Stansfield. Will's had a great weekend as well. Winning that first heat has really put him in contention, and that's a problem up in front. That's one of the back markers peeling in, I think, having decided to call it for the day. Yeah, it's not one of the leading drivers. Oh, we've got a spin. Now we've got a spin at the first corner. Now, who is that? That looks to me like it could be Catherine White. Unfortunately, the rookie seems to have just gone a little bit too far there into Crook Corner. Very easy to lose it in damp conditions. So Huntley still running in second ahead of Graham and Nicky Taylor. Then it is Tyrone Stansfield. No, it's not. It's Connor Brown, of course. Then it's Stansfield. Then Will Martin. So Connor Brown, the rookie, is actually getting onto the toe of these 3. Connor Brown could be in contention for a podium here as he hassles Nicky Taylor. But again, Nicky Taylor is the man really on the move in this race as he comes down the back straight towards the boot. And let's have a look. We've got another off there. That looks like Oliver Moy in the background. Here comes Graham. Oliver Moy, who was so strong in the wet conditions, he's pulled off the circuit. So that's another rookie, unfortunately, fallen from the fray. But we'll see him back to his best at Shennington, no doubt. But Huntley just hanging on here in front of Graham, Taylor and Brown. Stansfield, then Martin, and here is the 74 of Morgan Cole. Then it's the 90. That is Dylan Reed. So both Cole and Reed are fighting their way back through the field. Graham darts for the inside line as Brown makes the move on Nicky Taylor to move up into 4th position. Good move there from Connor Brown. He left that to the last possible minute. That's very similar to the move he put on Tyrone Stansfield earlier on at exactly the same place. And up to 4th position goes Connor Brown. Well, it'd be great to see a rookie on the podium, and Connor is definitely looking like he could get there. He's got 5 3/4 minutes roughly on the clock, so he's got time to make this happen, but Nicky Taylor is not going to take defeat in this battle lying down. He's going to push very hard indeed. Stansfield and Martin have separated, then Cole, then Dylan Reed, and then rounding out the top 10, Ben Gartside. Now further back, this is the squabble between George Whitehouse and Tom Davison. They're having a good little scrap, and that's been going pretty much since the start of this race. We'll try and pick that one up a little bit later because they're still nose to tail. Now where's Sky Siddle? Hopefully she's not too far behind Ben Gartside. I think she's running around 12th or 13th position. Again, the pace just hasn't been there because the strategy has been very difficult to get right. And Siddle has barely sat in the kart since the finale last year. So there's a lot of work still to do from a lot of the drivers here. And these cold and wet conditions have caught a lot of people out. Shennington might be a better representation of who's going to be front runners this year. But great to see that the drivers have taken the opportunity of these conditions and shown their skill and speed. These drivers are not doing this by fluke. They are taking a great opportunity to roll their sleeves up and get on with it. Now Connor Brown still being hassled by Nicky Taylor. Through the toe of the boot, down the heel, in the final corner. That was where Nathan Tye had his cadet incident earlier on. It's been pretty clean otherwise, other than that, at the final turn. I'm very impressed with the driving standards of the grids here. There's not been too much chaos in terms of the final corner, and that is where we tend to see a lot of the incidents in British karting at Whilton Mill as drivers go for brave manoeuvres. It's raining again. Now that is why every driver has gone for wet tyres, because it's just too big a risk to be out there on slicks with the changeable conditions. But the rain is coming down absolutely heavily now, with a big rain shower coming over the circuit. So as they drop down the Zulus, you can see it, and that means that those drivers who have looked after their tyres in the damp section of the circuit, they're going to start biting, and we'll see a few drivers going faster than they were in terms of the position on the circuit. If they've looked after the tyres well in the first 7 minutes, then they will really be a strong fighting force in the wet part of the race. So here comes the battle for 4th position. That is still Connor Brown versus Nicky Taylor. Stansfield just can't keep up. I thought Stansfield would be running away with this weekend, but no, the competition is so high this year, he's really going to have to find some extra pace. So here comes Connor Brown. He's going to leave it very late to go for Graham. He goes very wide. Can he shut the door again? Graham's going to get it back on the outside. That was just too big a move from Connor Brown. It was a good idea, but now he's opening the door for Nicky Taylor to come back it in. And Connor Brown really seems to be the man with all the courage and all the bravery. Here comes Taylor though to Zulu. No, he thinks better of it. Must have seen the incident between Lilly and Ross earlier and thought, you know what, it's not worth it. He backs down, but that was a bit of a mistake from Connor Brown. Taylor's got good speed down the back straight. He could go into the ankle of the boot, not quite, into the toe. Connor Brown is sliding in the wet conditions, but no, he's held on. That's good driving from Connor Brown. He's soaked up the pressure there from Nicky Taylor. And as they come across the line with 2 3/4 to go, I can genuinely see Connor Brown going for the podium, and that is Morgan Cole. Now that's the kind of pace we saw from him earlier. He's getting back on terms. He gets past Will Martin. Now this is interesting. We'll start to see a few drivers going backwards down the field as the I said as the rain comes down, but the rain has already stopped. It was only there for about a lap and a half, but it's already stopped raining. Now that's interesting because Harry Barlow making that big gap. He's lost a lot of time, so he's one of the drivers who was obviously trying to get a big gap just in case something happened behind him. And I wonder if he's overcooked the tyres, because now Scott Huntley is right behind him. Huntley was careful with his tyres by the look of it, so he's got a little bit more speed. Taylor's going to go late into the turn alongside Connor Brown, and it looks as though Dylan Reed's going to do the same thing on Will Martin. Those two, Taylor and Brown, are still side by side through the bottom of the boot, and they're still side by side in the final turn down to Crook, and eventually Connor Brown gets the place, but that's brought Tyrone Stansfield right onto the back of them, and Dylan Reed has got past Will Martin. My goodness, now we're getting a bit of a battle in the late stages of the juniors, and that's what a little sprinkling of rain can do. It can spice things up again. So here comes Nicky Taylor. He gets a much better exit than Connor Brown through Inkermans. Can he carry the speed through? He's going to try. No, he has to back out of it. He realises that Connor Brown is going to get the better break out of the corner. So let's see if Taylor can then get on through Zulu 1. He's got good traction, good grip. Through Zulu 2, he's going to try again into the boot, I bet you. Onto the back straight. This is an opportunity. He has a look. Has he got space? Is he going to brake late? He's going to try, but Connor Brown is going to shut him down. This is a great battle. Connor Brown, the rookie, has got his back to the wall here, and he is not budging. Absolutely brilliant. Nicky Taylor pushing him up against the ropes, but he keeps coming back for more. Amazing work this from Taylor. And interestingly now, as a result of that, Taylor is doing his best, but he's having to signal to Tyrone Stansfield behind. Come on, give us a hand. This is a rookie. We can get by him. But Nicky Taylor not playing ball. That's Oliver Moy just walking away from his kart. And as we can see, Harry Barlow now coming up to lap Zach Parkinson. Well, unfortunately, Zach, it just didn't work out. You tried a good idea. When you're that far back, you may as well go for it. But dry tyres, not the right course of action for this race, unfortunately, as we go into the final few seconds, and Harry Barlow puts the lap on. Zach Parkinson does exactly what he should do, gets out of the way. Morgan Cole, where's he come from? He's right on the back of Tyrone Stansfield now. Goodness me, Stansfield might not even get a top 6 finish. 2 to go, because we've got 4 seconds on the clock, and it's 14 minutes plus 1 lap, these finals in the juniors. The only race that isn't of that length is the cadets, which is 12 minutes and 1 lap. Parkinson gets out of the way. Look, Barlow is weaving. He's weaving now because it's stopped raining, and he's trying to get a little bit more temperature into the tyres. He's trying to cool them down, so he's sliding about a bit. He's not defending at this point because Huntley's not close enough for him to have to do that. But what he is doing is coming off the racing line, off the dry line, wherever he can gain the grip, and he's trying to cool the tyres down. But this is an invitation for Scott Huntley, who's looked after his tyres better than Harry Barlow. Meanwhile, we've got a nice little battle heating up as Sam Cunliffe is now ahead of Davison. So Cunliffe has made up a couple of places, and that, I believe, is still George Whitehouse in the battle. Oh, I'm not sure it is, actually. That's the 106 in there. That's Toby Baldry. So Baldry's coming back into it. Toby Baldry making a few choice moves, and Sky Siddle is behind these three, so I wonder if the tyres are just not working for her this weekend. Sky Siddle, usually a lot faster than this, but the weekend's weather has definitely caught her out. Last lap, Barlow in front of Huntley. Now, if I know Scott Huntley, he's going to wait for the perfect opportunity. He's not going to banzai in there. Huntley is a calculated driver. He is very precise and very mature. He's not going to go for a position that isn't there, but if the gap opens it up, you can bet he'll bounce right in. Down to Zulu 1. Huntley is definitely getting closer. Might he make a challenge into the boot? He's definitely got good traction off the turn. This is up to Harry Barlow now. He needs to defend comfortably. That's a good line, and that's his chance gone. Good work there from Barlow. He just needs to finish off these last two corners. Huntley will throw everything he can at him in the final bends, but I'm not sure he's going to get there. Barlow's going to get this one on a plate. Fantastic victory and a great performance. Harry Barlow soaks up the pressure and wins from Huntley. Graham is delighted with third. Fourth position, Connor Brown is elated, and rightly so. Taylor comes home in front of Stansfield and Morgan Cole, with the 90 in there as well of Dylan Reid. Will Martin slips down to 9th position in the final reckoning. And what an absolutely fantastic battle. Great performance there from Harry Barlow. Really took the victory when he needed to there. Got the gap, but he was able to look after the tyres enough to keep the heat and cool them down when he had to. Great battles all through the field. There's the confirmation. Barlow from Huntley and Graham. Brown, the leading rookie, ahead of Taylor and Stansfield. Morgan Cole recovers to 7th ahead of the fighting Dylan Reid. Will Martin slips to 9th, and Ben Gartside rounds out the top 10. To our race winner, Harry Barlow. That was such hard work, and over the course of the day, you really found more and more speed as the day went on.
Yeah, it's been a good day. 6th in qualifying, and tried my best in the heat and finished 5th. Pre-final, not the best call on the tyres, but held it in 4th. And final, I just drove straight through. Found it easy, really.
And now maybe when we get to Shenington, you've got even more tricks up your sleeve.
Maybe.
Well, hopefully the changeable conditions will continue to spice things up. The Super Elites final is coming up in part 3. Don't miss it.